We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next. Today on an all-new Daily Helpline, actress, producer, and host Tracy Gold is here.
Being able to find my voice and speak was really powerful for me.
I just think she's better than what she gives herself credit for.
So practice more moments like this, and I believe you'll start living it out loud.
For a school to kick out a child, it has to be bad.
I just don't know what to do at this point.
At one point, you were purging up to 12 times a day.
I want more from my life than the way I've been living it.
That's what I see as your strength, is when you show us your heart, and you did it today. Hello and welcome to the Daily Helpline. I'm Miles Adcox.
And I'm Spirit. Today on our show, we have a great guest. Actress, producer, and host Tracy Gold is here. Come on up, Tracy.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Awesome, so good to see you. Have a seat.
Nice to be here.
Now, this has been amazing. Watching you grow up on TV, I mean, Growing Pains, of course. Everybody knows that character, right?
It was a popular show, yeah.
Oh, just a little.
It was fun.
Yeah, what was that like, though, to grow up so publicly?
You know, I think it has its advantages and its disadvantages. You know, for sure, teenage years are hard enough.
Of course.
So kind of going through them under a microscope has its challenges, for sure.
Yeah.
But the experience of doing Growing Pains within itself was just a magical, amazing time.
Yeah.
That I just feel really lucky to have been a part of.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's the gift that keeps on giving, really.
Yeah, and then let's talk about that, because the part that keeps on giving, of course, one of the things that you're really well known for is your public trials and overcoming of your eating disorder.
Yeah, and that went like at the end of Growing Pains. That became very public, and I had to leave the show for a few episodes, and I was put into a hospital. It was really overwhelming, and felt like living in a fishbowl at that time. And I looked at it as the worst thing that could ever have happened to me. That like everybody now knew, and I felt really exposed. But then, the truth be told, it really was kind of the best thing that ever happened to me, because one, it made me have to deal with what was really going on and not be able to hide it anymore. And two, I kind of became like this, you know, at first I'm like, I don't want to be the spokeswoman for eating disorders, but it's been something that I've actually really embraced. And as I saw the people I've been able to touch, I really think it was an amazing gift that I've been given to be able to help people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love, is what you've done with what happened to you, because I'm in the trenches in the eating disorder field, and you are an incredible advocate and a great voice for the cause and what we do. And
I'm proud of that. I mean, I really am. And so for me, it started very small as a personal struggle, and people would say, well, you know, they'd ask me these questions, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm just figuring it out myself. And, you know, I landed on the cover of People magazine a week out of the hospital after signing myself out of the hospital. And, you know, it was just so overwhelming, but I really somehow learned how to just get better. And that's the first thing I needed to do before I could even, you know, do anything, was to figure out how to get better. And once I kind of found that road, it really led me to some great strength in being able to be a voice and to help other people. And I think so many times with eating disorders and being a child actress, your voice is never really heard. So being able to find my voice and speak was really powerful for me.
and something else you've got to be proud of is you've got, what, 4 boys now?
I have 4 boys. Yeah, I'm super proud of that.
All boys.
Yeah, I have 17, 15, 10, and 6, and they are amazing. And my husband's 6'4", so they all are like outgrowing me very quickly. So I got these big boys to protect me. It's nice.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, we've asked you to be here today because we have got some amazing guests that we know that you're going to do great work to help us out with. So are you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Great. We asked Tracy here because she can relate to many of the stories, especially this first one. Now, Justine is just 19 years old, and she's had an eating disorder now for close to 8 years. Let's welcome Justine to the stage. Hey there.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
All right, so how you doing?
I don't know. I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous, that's okay.
Like you said, I've had this eating disorder for a really long time.
When did all this start?
It started off when I was like 11. My mom got sick. She was diagnosed with cancer, and I noticed some things like starting to develop, and then it just spiraled from there. after she passed away, I had more of a spiral of just continuous behaviors.
I want to remind you, first of all, just to sit back a little bit, take a deep breath. I can tell you're really nervous, and I just want you to know that you're in a safe space with the three of us. We got you while you're up here. Because I really want to be able to help you and help you tell your story.
Thank you.
All right? So let's get back on it here. So your mom, what happened to her?
Yeah, my mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor when I was 11. And so that year, she slowly passed away.
And how did your mom's death affect you?
Well, it happened at the worst possible time. When I was 12, you know, teenage girl, like going through those years without my mom was really terrifying and awful. And I had my dad who tried really hard, but you know, I needed my mom. I needed somebody like that. So I didn't really have anyone to really talk to about issues I had.
Yeah, I can't imagine losing your mom, especially at that time. And I'm curious, over the years, how has her not being there affected your disorder?
I feel if she had been there, I could have had somebody to reach out to and ask for help.
If your mom was here, though, what do you think that she would say?
She would be like, why did you keep this going so long? She would probably she would be probably pretty ashamed of it.
You know, as a mom, and I want Tracy to kind of chime in on this too, the last thing that I think that she would feel is ashamed. The last thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have 4 boys and their struggles as teenagers and what they go through. It's our job as parents to support, and that's what would be the first thing that I think your mom would think.
Yeah. Yeah. And she would want to see you get better.
I know that.
Yeah, that unconditional love. So I want you to take ashamed out of the picture for a second. And I'm curious, why now? Why are you ready to do something different now?
I'm just exhausted. I'm just like sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want more from my life than the way I've been living it. I'm ready now. I've been kind of very willful about recovery and like getting help because I've just been too scared. And I think that now that I feel like it's been rock bottom for a long time, I'm just kind of ready.
So you have, not getting help and having active bulimia for quite a while. And tell us, I know at one point you were purging up to 12 times a day.
Yeah.
And where are you now?
It's not quite so much. Sometimes when I feel really awful about myself, and there are days when it can be up to 10 times, but it's now like steady 5 to 7 times a day.
And what's it cost you?
I've missed out on a lot of relationships because I have to put that wall up. So I can't really get close to like romantic relationships because that's really not something that I can, allow myself to get close to.
I relate to you a lot, obviously. I have been where you are, and my eating disorder first reared its horrible head at 12 also, and I didn't have the tragedy that you have. It happened for me because it was just being a teenager, that crucial time when you're going from a little girl to becoming, a teenager and a woman and all those things. And it came back and resurfaced when I was your age. And for me, it stood in the way of so many things. And when you said those words, that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's exactly how I felt. And it overwhelmed everything in my life, everything that meant anything. And I had a boyfriend, who's now my husband, but when I was sick, and I remember the first date we went on, and I used to do what you did. I had to wear days where I wouldn't eat anything, and the days where I allowed myself, and I would just eat whatever I wanted in the whole entire world. And my whole week was consumed with just get to Friday, and then I'll be okay, and then I can have whatever I want. And it was so wrapped up in that. And then all of a sudden, I meet somebody, and how can I manage that? It felt like it's like two great loves almost, you know? It's like you can't manage the eating disorder and you can't manage a relationship. And it was a huge struggle for me. I mean, it was a balance of this internal struggle in my head of how can I do this? And I think that's where I hear you are.
Yeah.
Justine, how have you managed to hide it so long?
I've gotten really good at being like discreet about going to purge. It took a really long time before my family found out, maybe like 3 or 4 years, but I really don't know or I don't know if I've kept it hidden.
We have to take a break, but we have so much more to talk about with Justine when we come back. Stay tuned. Coming up, what is this going to cost you?
Life.
We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next.